Good morning. Good morning. It's Thursday, November 6th, 2025. Um, this is take 4. So, this is what today's been a day. I didn't think that, I got up this morning. I stayed up too late last night applying for some jobs, but I felt good. I wasn't exhausted. I wasn't stretched out. So I just stayed up and got up at a good time this morning, and everything about today has drawn on and on and on and on. Like, I can't believe how long it's taking me. Like, at one point in my reflection, I was told that in my devotions, it said, put everything down and take 5 minutes, just you and God. No expectations, no questions, no nothing, just be 5 minutes. And my first response was, I don't even think I have 5 minutes. But I do. I mean, we've talked about it. I'm in this place in life where I do. And it was good in those 5 minutes, but 5 minutes is hard to sit there and do nothing. And here we go. Today's been a day already, and I haven't even chipped away at the surface of my to-do list. It came to me today. Let's just ramble because why not? It came to me today as I was like putting lotion on my face and doing things, and I'm like, how in the world are women expected to do all these things? Like, I don't spend time in devotions, get your 8 hours of sleep, take care of your skin, take care of your hair, make sure your children have everything they need, caregive your husband, go out and have a full-time job and earn money, be a good friend, volunteer, get to church, keep a clean house. Like, there are not literally gals, like, if you're struggling, add it up, there's not enough hours in the day. There's not. I don't know how in the world we're supposed to do all these things. And today is definitely one of those days where I don't have 5 minutes, but we do. We got 5 minutes for God. And I truly believe that when we make time and when we give our time and resources to God, he pays us back. It'll be fine. I'm going to let go and surrender that to God because I really feel like right now everything is immediate. Everything, I need to make money. I need to I need to heal, so I got to spend this time in devotion. It's number one. I've committed to making sure that I'm getting plenty of rest because for years I lived on 4 hours of sleep a night for years. And the compounded stress it has put on my body, myself, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. Survival mode was real for me. So sleep's important. My skin is important. Everything. My health is important. My spiritual health, my emotional health. When you go through these trials and tribulations, even with my adult children, they really need me to be present. They need me to be on my A game. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to have grace with them and be able to not have to have the words to say the right thing every time. And it'd be nice to be able to control my emotions at all times and my reactions at all times. And I can't. And it's even harder right now for me because my kids need me to be this steady person that I've always been, and this not selfish person. This is something that came to me yesterday. Like, my kids have never, ever, at the 22 and 20 and 18, they really have never experienced me being remotely selfish with my time or energy or anything. Like, they have never experienced me trying to put myself first. And we're pretty dang tight, the kids and I are, and in our conversations, let's be honest, as healthy or unhealthy as this is, they are my best friends. I might not be theirs, but it's fine. But they're my ride or dies, and they know it, and I'm their ride or die. And sometimes when I'm like processing or going through something or struggling with something, of course you turn to your people and you want to talk to them about it. And I can't. I try with them, and I immediately know I can't because um, it's their place to vent their frustrations and share their concerns and worries about their dad or the situation or whatever. And when I say vent their concerns, like their dad is, we have some health concerns about him. There's some stuff going on, and um, we share some concerns. And in my relationship with my kids, um, it's hard because I can express my concerns about his health or well being, but I cannot express my concerns about how his health or well being affects their relationships. And so when he, um, just whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, if he does something good and it concerns me because it's going to come back and bite them later because it's not something that's sustainable, or there's a cyclical history of behaviors, and my eyes are wide open to it right now, and I know that in the past their eyes have been wide open to it, but because they're in this place where they want so badly for their dad to be healthy and present, they don't recognize the beginning of the cycle or where we are in the cycle. And being the solver and the fixer that I am, I want to be able to say, hey, let's just be eyes wide open about this, be careful about this, or let's go into this with prayer. Number one, it doesn't always come out like that, because as much as I know what's right and what's wrong and how God wants me to handle things, I don't. I can sit here and say, let go of the doorknob, surrender it to God, all those things, release it. I can say that, but saying and knowing to do it in the heart of the moment when you have been so prone to anxiety, and fear, letting those things run your actions. They're two totally different things. And so yesterday there was a issue where I let anxiety take over, and it wasn't even like impulsively I let anxiety take over. I had time to stop and think and give it to God. And I subconsciously started to do that, knowing that this was an area that I had to be careful. But then I just decided to take control and said some things that I shouldn't have said. And it wasn't out of, in spite of anyone, or out of anger or hurt, or it wasn't out of any of that. It was fully out of fear and fully letting anxiety take over, and not trusting that prayer and giving it to God would just be okay. Because the truth is, giving it to God feels irresponsible. Like the idea of, okay, that's not mine to worry about. It feels irresponsible when you've been through these cycles of abuse and cycles of unhealthy relationships. So I came today into these devotions, um, and I don't even know, like, I came to it with just that experience, and kind of maybe expecting um, that it would just be in my face, more answers about how to surrender in the moment, and how to break the habits, break the unhealthy habits of letting anxiety just run with it. And I'll say that nothing was like right away in my face, oh, da, here it is. But there is value, of course, in what I read today. And I have to remember that there's no quick fix to this 20 plus year cycle. And let's be honest, it's my lifelong cycle. It's how I was raised too. So there's no quick solution to this. It's not a sit down and read your Bible and think about it for a week, and all of a sudden you're going to be magically fixed. But so big picture wise, there's a ton of value in today. So let's get to it. So I'm going to try to be not as long-winded. Starting out today's gospel is Luke 15, 1 through 10. And it is a parable of Jesus talking about if a shepherd's lost one sheep, he leaves the other 99 and goes and finds the one. And what I know is this: God is he's always looking for the one sheep. Always. He will always, like heaven will always celebrate one sinner coming to God more than they will celebrate 100 people continuing to be faithful. The question is, what does sheep have to do with where I am in my life right now? That's where I'm at. What does that lost sheep have to do with you? I know a few things. We're not called to judge. We're not supposed to look across the room and find sheep, like based upon what they look like or how they act. We don't know until we have conversations where they are in their walk with Christ. So we're not called to go pick out which person in the crowd is a sheep, or which person anywhere is a lamb, a lost lamb. We're called to engage with everybody, and by not being willing to engage with everyone regardless of their appearance or where they are sitting in life, by not being willing to do that, we miss out on important things, whether it be great conversations or good influence. I might walk into a room and find somebody that looks like an absolute train wreck, for lack of better terms, and have a conversation with them and find that they are in a better place with God than I am, or they have a better take on a situation, a better Christ-centered take on a situation than I do. It's not my job to judge that. So then I'm like, okay, regardless of where people are, like that lost lamb might be right in front of me that I need to have those conversations with. And then I'm like, okay, are there lost lambs in my life that I'm supposed to be dealing with right now? And of course, the first thing I come to is like, is my husband a lost lamb? Maybe. I don't know. Is it my job to judge that? No, it's not. Am I the lost lamb? Somewhat, yeah. I mean, a little bit, but at least I feel like I'm on the right track now. Or is where I'm supposed to be going with my job search and where I'm supposed to focus in on my efforts, am I supposed to be working with lambs, with lost sheep? Am I supposed to be, is that where I need to put my focus? All these things, all those questions. So at this point, I have no idea who that was, where the importance is, except right now, the message probably is like, it's all valuable and it's all worthy. If it means I can have a conversation about Jesus with someone, or my faith with someone, or where I've been with someone, then it's important. Everybody's equally important, equally interesting, and we can all just share where we are in our walk with Christ. Then I'm moving on to Luke chapter 23, 35 through 43, with Father Mike Schmidt's reflection and where he was at. And this is the one that's super quick little reflection. And so far in the moment, it has been like, okay, well, I don't know where that fits, but you're giving it to me, God, so here we go. I'm sure it'll come around. And it, of course, did, like it has in the past. So here's the tidbits of what I got from it. God is the only one that has claim on us. My faith is never for sale. There's nothing that someone could give me or do for me that would change my belief in God and how he is always constant with me. So, and then the last piece, in that situation when we are challenged or when our faith is challenged, or we are challenged to explain our faith or justify it, or any time when we're in a situation that we can't control, where we could have fear, what do we replace that with? And so, trust and surrender. And so, of course, I take that to my interactions with my daughter yesterday. and me having fear that down the road something was going to bite us all in the behind and something wasn't going to turn out good. I had this fear and I had no control over it. And I let anxiety take its course, and it was terrible. It was awful. I made for a stupid, stressful, dramatic afternoon evening, and it didn't need to be. Like, it was so frustrating, and I sat there in the moment going, this is so dramatic, and it doesn't need to be dramatic. And like we've already talked, when we're feeling fear and feeling like we aren't in control, rather than anxiety, we need to trust the Lord and surrender it to Him. So give it to God. And back to the surrender prayer. And while we're on that, today when I was saying my surrender novena and repeating, and it's funny because in the Catholic faith, we do repeat things so often. Like, it's repetition, and I'm sitting there during my 5 minutes of quiet time that I needed to take today, that I didn't have to take to just be with God. And I was thinking, between the time when I was saying, oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you, take care of everything, and I was saying that 10 times, and then my 5 minutes of quiet, my reflection on that was like, I don't need to say it 10 times for God to actually hear me. That's not why I repeat, oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you, take care of everything 10 times, because it's a lot. Sometimes you have to repeat yourself to convince yourself, and sometimes that repetition has to do with reflection on what it is that we're surrendering and how we're going to surrender it. It is in itself, it's that pause to help us bring it all to light. So there's that trusting and surrendering piece for us. Okay, now here's where today got hard for me. And normally I just do my devotions and then I kind of gather myself, maybe get a drink of water or whatever, and then go straight to reflection and recording that and sharing it. And today I had to take a break because there's this one word that has haunted me in life, and it came up in stuff. And it's abandonment. And I don't know why in all of things in life I choose to I have chosen the past to let this word abandonment get me so much. Abandonment seems to be the theme of so much of my pain. People in my life, adults in my life, family members, people that are brought into a child's life to support and encourage and cheer on and nurture and all these things. Those people that have been in my life, the ones that have the name of parent or step parent or a sibling or step sibling, really, even just those people that have come into my life that have the name and take on this role that in traditional society it says like the family is this tight unit that is meant to support each other, encourage each other, bring each other up. Those people have abandoned me, straight and simple. And earlier today when I wrote this and thought about it, the tears and the snot, and I was just, and my Kleenex was across the room, and I didn't want to stop where I was at in my journaling or my listening to go get Kleenex. And so I was wiping out my sweatshirt and letting everything just run. And that's not me. This is just really not me. It's really gross, but I digress. Here's where we're at. Like, those people, they've just walked away, and it's hurt. God, it's hurt. And when you're hurting, all those self-sabotaging thoughts about it are, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough for them? What about me is not something they want or need in their everyday life and enjoy enough to be present with me. Why is it so easy to leave me? And you go into this self-sabotaging, or I've gone into this self-sabotaging thoughts and almost just hurting myself more because I put it all, I've owned it all, I've tried to control it all. I have just owned it, just soaked it all in and hurt myself. I've always felt this. So then this part was like, I wrote this down and I was like, I can't believe I'm actually writing this, but it is where my brain, sits. So I'm going to read it. I've always felt God with me. I've always felt his comfort and him just, I've never felt solely alone. But I've always low-key been kind of mad that Jesus was the only one that stayed. I've always been low-key kind of mad that Jesus was the only one who stayed, as if he's not good enough. Like, it's comical and sad that that's where I was. Like, and writing it today was like, I'm going to write this because I need to see with my own eyes that it's insane. Low-key mad that Jesus was the only one who stayed. Like, he's not good enough. Like, he's not ever been exactly what I needed. So then it really helped me see a few things. And real quick, there's some great scriptures. In Isaiah 49, he says, I will never forget you. Matt 28, I will be with you always, even until the end of the age. And that's what I need. In Hebrews, he says, I will never leave you or forsake you. We know it. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. In Hebrews 13:8. So here's some things that I do know about abandonment. And really hear this and maybe replay this if abandonment is something that you struggle with, or write about it and see where you land on it. But so I said, first, why is God not good enough? He's better than all the rest, a better companion, a better comforter, a better provider. Jesus never leaves. He's my constant. And I can always count on him to love on me. People, not so much. They've absolutely 100%. People disappoint me. Sorry, people in my life. I love you, but I know I disappoint you too. So like, I don't mean it personally. We just let people down because we're not God. So why would I be mad that Jesus and all the saints are always my go-tos? And when you bring that army of saints into it, that I can go to a saint and call on them at any time to pray for me. How cool is that? How cool is that? Like, why would I be mad that Jesus and all the saints are my go-tos? How cool is that? Like, no tears. They're my people. Truth is, I don't think that people leaving me, here's where it all comes together. People leaving me was never about me. Them abandoning me was never about what I was or wasn't. It's not mine to carry. Why they left me, why they chose to not be a part of my life, was never about me. It had nothing to do with what I failed to do or who I failed to be. It's not about my value, not about my actions, my worth. And if I may, and I, at the risk of sounding judgy, like I said to not be earlier, the people who have just abandoned the relationship that I had with them, I think I know them all well enough, because remember, I'm talking about close family members. I wasn't just looking at them in the room and telling them they didn't have the tools and they didn't have a relationship with God, but the people that in my life that have just walked away from my relationship with them and put other things first, they really lack the tools, the self-awareness, the ability to communicate and own up to themselves. They lack the ability to take accountability for and be someone who contributes positively to the relationship I had with him. They did not have the tools to be a positive factor in my relationship with them. And rather than get those tools and do the work, they chose the easy way out and they walked away. And if I'm being fully honest, and a little bit judgy, sorry, but the people who have left me in their life, they're not the people, the people that have left me in my life, the ones that held these roles that could have been or should have been really great and positive and fun and impactful. Those people that it should have been a really great relationship where it was give and take and we both benefited, and I would feel not fulfilled, but I would feel good about where we were. For some reason, if I'm being honest, let's read this because that's my thoughts and I got lost in where I was going. For some reason, if I'm being honest, people who have left me or their role in my life that could have been or should have been great, positive, fun, impactful, but for some reason they left. It's theirs to carry, it's not mine. The reason they left is not mine to carry. I think I did my part in all those relationships, and when I didn't, I have reached out to try to fix or rekindle, I hate that word, to try to address the needs in that relationship with no response. So those people, they just didn't value it. They couldn't be the person, this is where I sound kind of judgy, but they couldn't be the person that they were called to be. And honestly, from what I know, this is where I don't want to be judgy, I'm just putting it in perspective. They didn't have the relationship with our Lord in order. So if they're not right with God, being accountable and purposeful and humble in a relationship, like that's really hard. It's really hard. If you're not right with God, your relationships cannot be in order. So most of the people that have abandoned me have done wrong by me and have something to reconcile with me. But instead of being accountable and real, they chose the easy road and they've walked away. It's really hard to be accountable. It's really hard to reconcile. You have to do the work. It's more than just saying, gosh, that was wrong. So then I come back to those people that have abandoned me, are they the lambs? So much. 20 minutes before this, a half hour before this, I didn't know who the lambs were in my life, and now I'm starting to question, am I supposed to take this safe space that I'm in where I don't even know my schedule? And am I supposed to go try to start conversations with those lambs again because I'm in a better place? I don't know. We're going to pray on that one. And then we go into this other stuff that's usually pretty heavy, because this next set of devotional stuff is really just working on, it's one that's designed to kind of work on what I bring to my marriage. So, but interestingly, God winkingly enough, that it always ties together. So Psalms 46, in the New King James Version, it's 46:10, and in my Catholic Bible, it is 46:11. Just versing apparently between, when they did translations from Catholic Bibles, some of the versing numbers come out just a little bit wonky. in this particular case, in Psalms 46, there's nothing different said. It's just in the translations, the versing came out just a little bit different in the numbering. So in the Catholic Bible, it's Psalms 46:11. In New King James and many Protestant Bibles, it's 46:10. But we all know the verse. Be still and know I am God. And in this set of devotion time, it did tell me to take 5 minutes to be with God and not have questions, expectations, prayers, distractions, any of that. And that was really hard. I never lay down in the quiet. The music's going on, news is going on. I'm writing a to-do list or a list of goals or something. I don't ever take 5 minutes and just breathe and be. I didn't have 5 minutes today. I didn't think I had 5 minutes today. Anyways, during that time to be still and know that He is God. It's not about disengaging. It's about trusting. Stillness before God is an act of surrendering. There's that anxiety piece again. I couldn't sit for 5 minutes before and just be in the quiet because I would have to trust and surrender. And then this one was interesting. I wish I would have grabbed something that I could have used, but anxiety and the desire or need to control something and always fix something. And, I've always been this fixer, and I've literally prided myself in being able to be in a situation and look forward to what's going on and see where we might have struggles physically or in our needs in a situation, whether it be like working cows or setting up a situation at, something at school or something. Literally one of the things that I've always taken pride in is being able to look forward to where we might find struggles, do the work beforehand to get everything all lined out, run around like a chicken with my head cut off, and make sure that when people got to that space where there might be a struggle, it was smooth. Literally, this is why I have anxiety, because this is what I've fed it for so long. I have made such a habit out of making sure that people weren't uncomfortable or didn't have stress on them that I would just go ahead and light my own hair on fire and do everything for everybody else that I'd never think once about doing for myself. So the picture that was painted for me was God holds us in situations in His hands, holds them in His hands. He doesn't hold them in His hands. He doesn't hold them flatly in His hands. Like we've always had that visual of Him holding this cup. Okay, whether He holds us in our situations in our hands. As a person that needs control and wants to make things right and wants to remove stresses and wants to do all that work, I literally am bouncing around God's hands, and He's like having to do this to try to keep me in, because if He doesn't do this, I'm gonna like fall out of His hands, because I am so busy bouncing off the sides of His hands, bouncing off the cup that He has made, that I am creating so much havoc within me. I am creating havoc within my own self to make things smooth for other people. And I didn't just do it sometimes. I built my life on that. Literally, I promise you. No boundaries. I have none. I'm trying. I know what they are now. I know how to see what my boundaries should be. When we are still, when we take that time to just pause and be still, we can look around in the hands and see, God's already got this. God, it's sitting in His hands. It's here already. I'm not moving around to put it in His hands. I'm not doing all this work so that God can have it. It's already there. And I'm doing all I can to stay within those hands, but literally almost falling out all the time. Am I making sense? I hope so. I hope I'm making sense. So don't just surrender our problems. Talk with God about them. Trust that he hears us and he cares deeply for us personally, he doesn't just, oh, you're important. He cares deeply for all these thoughts and this insanity in my head. Jeremiah 29:12-13 says, call, pray, seek. And he's there. Call on him, pray to him, seek him out. He's there. So I don't have to fix all the things or prove myself worthy. I just have to ask, and then I have to listen. Listening is so hard for me. This next one works together beautifully as well. The more we consistently chase God, the deeper our relationship with God is, the less we feel the need to chase validation from others. Why have I been chasing others? Why have I been chasing validation from others? The more we chase God, the less we need to chase the validation from others. Easy. Again, why do we do it the hard way? So much easier just to get to know God better. And right before I read this, I had paused and I had said, in some reflection, and I said it out loud to God, I said, I just don't even know, God, how to go about building trust with my husband. Like in our conversations that we have, I don't know if I should say things like, hey, how you feeling? Or do I ask him questions about, what trust means to him and how he knows things are trustworthy? And I literally said, like, God, how do I do this? Do I ask this? Do I do that? Do I? Then I took a deep breath and I read, the more we consistently chase God and the deeper the relationship is, the less we feel the need to chase validation from others. And I go back to just on the previous page, the pre-printed scripture is, and we know that all things work together for good to those who are called according to his purpose. All things work together for good. So I don't need to chase validation. I don't need to stress about what I need to do differently to pull things out of my husband to make him feel more valid or more, that he trusts me more. I just need to dig deep in my relationship with God, and in turn, that will work for the good. God put us together. We are one. I'll fight being apart from him. But I'll just cherish this time where I get to work on me and deepen my relationship with God. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Me and my brain, some limits. Severely attention deficit and anxious and all over the freaking board. But God's brain's perfect. His wisdom is perfect. So I'm going to trust in that. The idea of surrendering sounded really scary. And a year ago, in all the stress we were in, and 2 years ago, and 3 years ago, and 10 years ago, and 15 years ago, especially when I was in the heart of momming 3 young children, if someone had come to me, and probably did, and I didn't hear it, I didn't receive it, and said, surrender yourself to God, that would have been terrifying. Especially if they said, you're going to do this. Because right now, like in the space I'm in right now, basically, God said, you're doing this. And I said, oh, okay. Okay. Like, that's my only choice. I felt like it was my only choice. I had other choices, but thankfully God showed this as the choice. But had somebody said it when I was in the heart of all of the other stuff and raising my kids and trying to hold down, my teaching jobs and things, and if they would have said, you are going to surrender to God, everything, every decision, I would have been terrified, curled up in a ball, terrified. I would have been so scared of outcomes. Why? I don't know. But, so it can be scary, I get it. 100%, yes. Surrendering equals to seeking Jesus equals trusting. It all moves together in the line. When we surrender, we are able to see ourselves through God's eyes, loved, valued, and secure. And I wrote down, I'm so curious as to what that looks like for me down the road. I don't know what it is to be loved, to be seen as loved, valued, and secure. I'm pretty excited to be able to see myself that way. It's so crazy. So, Psalms 100, verse 5. For the Lord is good, his mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. And what I love about that is that hopefully I'm actively breaking a cycle, because I told you I was raised in households where anxiety and these behaviors ruled. And I raised my children in the same household, but hopefully I can break this cycle with them. I mean, I raised them in some pretty questionable, as far as emotionally unhealthy situations. It wasn't all awful. It really wasn't. But I know I'm fully aware that if I didn't take this time for me, the other part would be I'd just be making it harder for them to break that cycle. So we're going to do it together, because we're each other's ride or dies. So I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the work. And I'm going to encourage them to do some of that work with me, because that's what it takes. All right. Hopefully you got value out of today. Hopefully this is not just me yammering and selfishly getting value out of it for myself, because even though I write everything down and I get value out of that, spitting it back out for 45 minutes, because that's what it's been. Sorry. I don't want to take this much of your day up. I want you to go do things for yourself, but hopefully you get benefit out of it too. Then one last thing, two things I'm going to leave you with. One is, what are you doing when you're not working and serving the people in your family or the people around you like we do, which is fine and good. It's not bad to serve people. We are called to serve. We are called to love. Serve with love, not duty. But for you, if you didn't have those people around you that needed stuff from you all the time, which truth is, there will be a time when they're not surrounding you. But if you didn't have all of those people in your life needing things from you all the time, how would you choose to fill your time? I don't want that answer to be you would work more. It's okay if that answer is, my answer used to be sleep. I'll just sleep, because that's all I could think of was sleep. Thankfully lately, the Lord is really blessing my sleep. But that's not a viable long-term answer either. What are you doing to feed your soul? That's what I'm getting at. I'm not talking about going to get your nails done, your hair done. Those are things that we all love and appreciate and want to do. I'm talking literally, this is a 4-letter word for moms. What's your hobby? But that's like, what are your interests? What would you do? Would you lay down and read a book? Would you go golfing? Would you go learn the game of pickleball? Would you go volunteer? Would you go for walks all the time? Would you how do you feed your soul? In some seasons in life, we can't do that on a daily basis. Because I think I talked earlier today, there's not enough hours in the day for women to do all the things we're expected to do. Take care of ourselves, exercise, have good hair, have a clean house, have cute things, have children that feel loved and complete, have enough groceries, or have groceries in the cupboard and fridge, and take time for God. All these things that we are expected to do. There's not enough hours in the day. So, but for your own self, if you can't find time in every single day to do something for you, 5 minutes isn't enough. It's not. Give yourself a half hour a week. Start there. Find something that you want to do for you that feeds your soul, and do it. Start carving out the time. You can't work yourself to the bone. You can't sacrifice sleep, sacrifice your own well-being nonstop and expect to come out of this life healthy and happy. You have to feed your soul. You do. So that's one thing I'm going to leave you with. The other being God's peace. You're loved. You're enough.